New introduction here. I want to get everybody's attention for what I feel will be a lucrative opportunity. It's the first ever NYSE marijuana IPO. We're making history here, and I feel this is just the first stepping stone in what is going to be the start of many IPOs on both the NASDAQ and the NYSE. I feel we're going to have a marijuana sector and marijuana ETFs in the future, and this is just step number one. If you are familiar with the industry, that's all I have to say. I know you're interested already. If this is new to you, this is going to be, in my opinion, the greatest financial opportunity in our lifetimes. This has never happened before. We have an established tens of billions dollar industry that the floodgates are going to open. It's becoming more and more legitimate legally, and this is just step number one. So Innovative Industrial Properties is the company. The ticker is IIPR. It is a real estate REIT that invests in medical marijuana facilities. And for this IPO, we have a new website, www.mjipo.com. I put together an hour of research video going through the filings, researching the company and the executives, and establishing a game plan, looking at some other IPOs and how they have traded. We're going to have a chat room with live Q&A during that day, Tuesday, November 22nd. And we'll also have the live webcam where I'll be showing our charts, going over, pointing out key support and resistance levels, looking at the volume that's coming in. I'm really looking forward to this opportunity. I hope you will join us. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get into the charts. Hey everyone, checking in on Facebook, daily, weekly, shorter term time frames. Very similar dump day to Thursday. Facebook was one of the weaker names because of the bearish day we saw on Friday compared to Apple. Apple had a bullish day Friday. But this is pretty much the same thing. We're seeing money flow out of tech and into banks and the biotech sector. So what we had here on Friday was an inside candlestick. There were inside candlesticks all across the market. As soon as we broke 118.15, that's your bear signal, and the odds instantly increase significantly that we see a bear day today. Obviously, if you entered at 118.15, you had huge gains to the downside. We broke the low of last week, and we didn't see anywhere near as significant a bounce as we did on Thursday. We're going to compare on the shorter term time frames today compared to last Thursday. RSI back to oversold, and we're under 27 there. The weekly time frame must hold this 50-week moving average support. It has held for years. This held the last two dumps we've seen. It's at 115.71. The bulls have until Friday to keep that level as support, just like they did last week. This is a must-hold level. It is a risk of a trend change if we lose that, and we're looking at 108.23. Lose that level, and then we start forming lower lows on the weekly time frame, changing the trend. The big bear volume is scary for the bulls here. So let's now compare on the 5-minute time frame to Thursday. So we had the dump right out of the gate, huge bear volume, and just falling apart. Exponential moving average resistance driving it the whole way to the downside, and volume climax coming in not precisely at the low of the day, but right about at the low of the day. Volume climaxes often signal the top of an uptrend or the bottom of a downtrend. So we saw an oversold bounce, pulled back, formed a higher low, lower high, higher low. As soon as we break this lower high of 115.27, that's your bull signal. So it breaks on this candlestick, and we then see another 30-40 minutes of upside. Nice day trade opportunity there if you weren't in bearish on the dump to the downside. But let's compare that chart. Look at the dump and the bounce with the volume. Let's compare it to Thursday. So again, not as significant a bounce and recovery. There's your dump on Thursday. Very similar volume climaxing at the bottom. Not exactly the bottom, but right there at the lows. And then a nice bounce, and we closed stronger on Thursday than we did today. We had that lower high and lower low at the end of the day. That little dump made for some weakness heading into tomorrow. Look at the hourly time frame. Thursday, we dumped, bounced, rejected from the exponential resistance, then turned it into support before the close. That showed the strength. Today, we dump, bounce, reject from exponential resistance, and then reject the entire day, never turning those levels into support. So the bears are in full control, and oversold bounce will be indicated by this 20-period moving average on the hourly becoming support. That will be signal one we're looking for, but as of right now, very cautious because SPY hasn't even consolidated significantly, and if the overall market consolidates, I can imagine that the tech sector would see even further downside if this is the kind of action we're seeing when the SPY bulls are holding up. So we'll check back in and see how it goes tomorrow. 20 period hourly is key, as is the weekly 50 week by the end of this week. I appreciate you watching. Have a great night.